today, so I can't get through the presentation. So I am recording now. So this is about our early college, and I hope that everyone can see my presentation. If you cannot, then please unmute and let me know. I can't see the chat because I'm in another window. So if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask them as we're going through. So again, as the first slide showed, my name is Tonika Russell, and I'm the college counselor for Arbor Prep. So primarily I work with our early college. I oversee that at Arbor Prep, and then I work with our students to get them prepared for whatever they're going to do after they graduate from Arbor Prep. So when I say whatever they're going to do, is that even though we're a college prep school, college encompasses more things than just a four-year degree. So I encourage students to look at two-year programs. I encourage students to look at going to the military, and I encourage students to look at getting certificates. And we have students that go all those different routes. This early college program really allows for students to receive up to an associate's degree through Wayne County Community College, specifically the Ted Scott campus, which is in Belleville, Michigan. So it's about 15 minutes from our school that we have this program and this partnership with, and students are eligible to receive up to 60 college credits, which is like an associate's degree, and they're able to receive it with no cost to them for the courses. So just understanding what an early college program is. So it's a 5-year commitment, and we'll talk more about what that 5th year looks like, because sometimes the students and the parents are like, wait, I was expecting my child to graduate after 4 years. So I'll explain a little bit more about that 5th year. So it is a 5th year commitment for students and parents. They earn their high school diploma, and then again, their associate's degree tuition free. So there's no cost for the classics, excluding the fact that you shouldn't pass. If you don't pass a class, then you do have to repay the course. We're looking at about a $50,000 scholarship once we add everything in for students inside of the early college program.
Excuse me, Miss Russell?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So are the supplies for the classes also taken care of, textbooks or whatever they need?
Textbooks are not, but I'll talk about that in a couple of slides.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So why would someone want to consider an early college program? First is that you're going to save a ton of money on college tuition. So by the time a student does enroll in school, if they decide to continue going on for their 4-year degree, you've already received a nice amount of credits so that once they do enroll, they're looking at being about junior status. So that's another year, year and a half, depending on their program, that they have to continue going on for that 4-year degree. If a student decides they want to receive a certificate or an associate's degree, they can be done once they exit the program. It gives more relevance to the work that students are doing. So we have students that may take like AP psychology at Arbor Prep through our online Michigan virtual. Students enjoy the class, but it's a lot of work. And once they get done, they're kind of like, I learned something, but I kind of want to take it again in college because I don't think I learned everything I should in AP Psych. But our students that are taking college psychology and they're interacting with the professor and they're doing presentations, they're able to learn more, and it's more relevancy to the work that they're doing. Students can take advantage of the support and counseling that comes from the college and the high school side, and I'll talk more about that, and then narrows the gap between high school and college. My students that are in the early college program during 10th grade are learning how to communicate with the professor. They're learning how to look at a syllabus. They're learning how to check Blackboard. All those things that I learned or didn't learn my freshman year of college, they'll already know once they enter into that realm, and I think it will definitely make them more successful. So ideally, students will begin taking the college courses their 10th grade year, and then they will continue into that 13th grade, but we call it their 5th year. So this is when my students and so my parents will go, wait, what do you mean a 5th year? Like, I'm expecting, I have their graduation year and I want them done. But that 5th year is technically what I call it to our students, is that we're paying for your freshman year of college at Wayne County. My current 5th year students, I have 10 of them. They don't come to Arbor Prep at all. We communicate through text. My plan before the coronavirus was that I was going to go to Wayne County and meet with them weekly, and we would sit down and have coffee. But of course, that can't happen right now because their courses are pretty much virtual. So I text them throughout each week and they respond if they need help. I have had some students that have came up to see me because I help them with their FAFSA and everything during their 13th year. I help them with college applications during their 13th year. So they just preferred to come up. Some of them miss their teachers. Some of them miss me, and they just came up to the school. But other than that, a student does not have to come to Arbor Prep at all during their 5th year. They'll be considered a complete freshman at Wayne County Community College. All high school requirements will be complete by their 12th grade year again, so making it so there's no need for them to come to our campus. They do have to maintain a math class during every year. So even during that 13th year, they'll have a math they have to complete. But again, that will be a Wayne County course. So I have students in trigonometry right now. I have some in calc. I have some in college algebra, some in intermediate algebra, just depending on where they place that. Students will still participate in high school graduation ceremony and their senior activities. So my 5th year seniors last year that were in the class of 2020, they were in the graduation ceremony. They were at the senior breakfast. They would have been at decision day if we could have had it, but they participated in decision day. They had open houses and everything. And they just go on and do their first year, real year of college, or their 5th year for us. And again, all that coursework will be at Wayne County. We do not give their diploma until after that 5th year is complete. So that's the only thing we hold on to. And then that 1 credit will be that math course they have to complete at Wayne County. So we say that's our course, that credit that we need for them to complete. And then they're in my college advisory course, which is me texting them every week. So I hope that kind of makes sense. And then again, there's little to no reason for them to come to the school unless they want to. So what does a 5-year plan look like? So their 9th grade year, their 2nd semester, they'll start doing essential skills that will be during their advisory. So that will be looking at helping them with time management, organizational skills. Their advisory teacher will be heavily looking at them, making sure that they're staying on track on their advisory coursework, so that they're prepared to start their first semester of their sophomore year. They'll take 2 Wayne County courses at Arbor Prep during 10th grade. Those will be in a classroom. The professor usually comes to the campus, but right now their classes are virtual. So their professor is on Zoom and they're watching in the class. And usually I'm in there. I'm kind of in and out between the 10th and 11th grade classes, just making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, kind of staying on top of them. Especially my 10th graders, because it does take them a while to get used to the rigor and the work that comes along with the early college. So I'm usually in there like, okay, what do you have due next week? What's going on? Kind of helping them out. By the time they get to 11th grade, I usually can let them free a little bit, and they do much better. So in the 11th grade, they'll also take 2 Wayne County courses on site at Arbor Prep. And this is per semester. So they have a class that is a Monday and Wednesday class, and then they have a class that is a Tuesday and Thursday class. My 12th graders, they can make 2 decisions. One would be if they say, you know what? My 12th grade year, I don't want to be at Arbor Prep at all. I want to be completely at Wayne County. I want to get a certificate in HVAC, or I want to become an RN. So I want to start taking my nursing classes. So Ms. Russell, I don't want to be at Arbor Prep. Then they will be completely at Wayne County, and I would treat them like I treat my 5th year students, where I check on them weekly. But many of my 12th graders want to experience some of Arbor Prep their last year. So they have 2 classes at Arbor Prep in the morning, and then Mondays and Wednesdays, they go to Wayne County for 2 classes. So they have a class from 12 to, I think it's like 1:50, and then their next class is 2 until 3:15. We still have students that are involved on the basketball team. The students are still run track. They just get done with class, and then they come back to Arbor Prep. So most of them either drive or carpool to class. And then their 5th year, they're full-time at Wayne County. Again, what I explained earlier, they don't come to our campus unless they want to. They're a full-fledged college student taking classes with college students the entire time. I did forget to mention something about our 12th graders, is that the 12th graders are not in 2 classes. I'm sorry, they're in 2 classes together. So that means they're in a cohort. When they go to Wayne County, they all take a class together on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then they're in another class. I'm sorry, we have someone joining us. And then they're in another class with all Wayne County students. So they pick that course. So again, just to make sure that I make it clear, because I'm sorry I missed that. My 12th graders that come to Arbor Prep in the morning, they leave on Mondays and Wednesdays, and they go to Wayne County for 2 classes together with all Arbor Prep students. And then they have another class, a third Wayne County class, where they're with college students. So I have students that are taking French, students that are taking their math course, students that are taking African American history, kind of whatever they really want to go into. I have some that are in a chemistry course. And then that 5th year, again, they're full-time at Wayne County. So when I talk about wraparound services for the students, there are 3 main people that will interact with your student in the program. The first will be Ms. Wallace. So she is at Wayne County, and she's a liaison between us and Arbor Prep. I probably talk to her 3 to 4 times a week. She contacts me with any student issues on campus or any student issues that the professors have communicated to her. She helps monitor student success. So she sends me reports monthly about how the students are performing. She does academic advising for the 13th year students. So she helps them pick their courses. In our 12th graders, she helps them pick that course that they take with Wayne County students. And then if any professors, or if I'm having any issues with any other professors, then she handles those complaints. She's really the liaison on the campus of Wayne County. So students will see her quite frequently when they do go on campus. An early college coach for the students. So that is a certified teacher at Arbor Prep. Currently right now, the teachers are Ms. Hogan and Ms. Tinsley. So students go in there for their advisory, and they work and do regular check-ins with both of the teachers. And anything I think the students need to work on, I send to them, and they work on that with the students. What I find is that my 10th grade students, they need to work on time management. So I told them, hey, can you work on time management with the 10th graders and the 11th graders? They did that. The students need to work on how to communicate any issues they have to a professor correctly. They worked on that. The students had psychology class, and they need to work on being able to write in MLA format. So they did a lesson on that. So they really work with those students, making sure that they're successful in all those areas. And then they communicate any concerns to me that they can't handle in their classroom, and then I handle. And then again, the students are in there for their college advising. And then you have myself. So I act as the central contact for the parents, for the students, for Wayne County, and for our early college coaches, and for our administration. Any problems that we have, I'm usually directly involved in the problem solving and making sure that we can get anything handled of any concerns. I communicate regularly with the students. Once a week, I try to make sure I have contact with each student. I communicate regularly with the professors, making sure that I can be proactive for any situations that may arise. And then if I think it's getting out of hand, I communicate to the parents. I think that's important for parents to understand, because these students are college students. So I try to figure out a way for them to resolve their issues first. And if they can't, then I bring the parents in. I usually give them about a week. And my students will tell you, I will say, I'm going to try to let you solve this problem, but if not, I'm going to call your mom on Monday. And usually that works. Usually they get right into it, but sometimes I have to bring mom and daddy in, or grandma, or whoever is their guardian, so that we can make sure they're successful. I organize the application and the acceptance process. I meet with struggling students weekly to kind of go over their week and help them with organizing. And then I handle college coaching and academic coaching even throughout their 5th year. So even though Ms. Wallace does the academic advising for their 13th year, and I'll toggle back and forth between saying 5th year and 13th year, but even though Ms. Wallace handles the advising, I really work with the students to make sure that they are communicating to her what they want to do, what their plans are, making sure they're successful, especially my 13th year students, because they really need that support. So how is this difference between dual enrollment? So we do have students at Arbor Prep that do dual enrollment. And some parents will say, well, why shouldn't I just have them do dual enrollment when they can? So they can't start dual enrollment until their junior year of high school, and versus the early college, they'll start actual classes, their 10th grade, but start preparing their 2nd semester of 9th grade. In dual enrollment, they take courses as needed. So a student may say, I'm done with calc. I'm ready to take, I took pre-calc, I'm ready to take calc 1. at the collegiate level, and then I will help them in enrolling at that class at Wayne County or at Washtenaw. Whereas in the early college, the classes are pre-planned for them during their 10th and 11th grade year. Dual enrollment, the course options are pretty limited. And in early college, the course options align in that pathway that I was talking about that we pre-plan. Dual enrollment, there's a certain amount of credits that they can take up until the 12th grade year. So it has to align with how many classes they have at the school, and that's predetermined by each student. So I have some students out there in 2 classes. I have some seniors that may be in 3, but not many more than that according to the state. And then in early college, the end goal is for them to earn either an associate's degree or a certificate. In dual enrollment, there's access to academic supports at Arbor Prep. So a lot of the students, I help out with any academic support they need. I get them in touch with, like, we have students that are in calc at Washtenaw, and I go to our math teachers and say, they need some help. Can you help them out? Whereas in the early college, there is wraparound services, and there's 3 main touch points for the students to help them be successful. And in dual enrollment, it goes through their 12th grade year, and then early college, the timeline as on a different year. Another thing about dual enrollment in early college that we talked about earlier, but we had a couple people join us, is that those credits transferring. So with dual enrollment in early college, credits transferring in Michigan is much easier than credits transferring outside. There's only one school in Michigan that will give students a hard time, and that's the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. They do not accept credits from any student that takes a class with other high school students. So if a student takes in our early college, they won't accept the credits until they get to their senior year when they start taking classes with other college students. But if they're just in a class with other high school students, they will not take them. But they're the only school in Michigan that does that. But once you step outside of Michigan, then we're kind of on their turf, and we may have to do a lot of proving the classes, but I definitely help out into the end, making sure if we can get those classes counted, that we do. And we also have things in place for our 504 and IEP students. I admit when we first started, this was kind of chaotic. Wayne County really pushes the students to be independent. But one thing I had to really help them understand is that these are still high school students. So we really need to help them as much as we can. Now we've kind of streamlined the process. So if any student on here has a 504 or IEP, then there's a process now in place to really help those students before they enroll so that they can get the services that they need to be successful. So what else should parents know? Students may participate in graduation activities with their original cohort. So if your student is scheduled to graduate in 2022, they are going to graduate in 2022. But again, we hold on to that diploma until after the completion of their 5th year. Their 5th year, they are not eligible to play sports at Arbor Prep or at Wayne County. They would have to wait until after that 5th year is complete. We really want students to understand that their Wayne County classes are priority. So right now, it's not a big issue because all of their classes are, again, virtual. But hopefully, once we're able to go back in person, there may be something at the school. There may be a pep rally. Usually our pep rally is on Fridays and our students are not in school class. But if we have something on a Wednesday and you have class, then you're going to be expected to be in your class. And that's for dual enrollment and early college.
Ms. Russell, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so I have Zaria here with me. So she keeps hearing 13th year.
Yeah.
Does she have to go through the 13th year, or can she say, okay, I really want to go off to college, my freshman year. I don't want to finish this. How does that work?
Yep. So students can decide not to complete that 5th year if they want. The only time that I advise it is if you're getting a full ride to college. But if you're not, and we start getting that cost back, then I heavily advise students to just complete that 5th year. I know that students will say, and last year was really hard for some of my kids because they're like, I want to go off to school. I want to go stay on campus. I want to go here. I don't want to stay home another year. But I will say, and I'm going to bring back some of my 5th year students, that they feel like it was the best decision because they don't have any loan debt right now. A lot of their friends end up staying home anyway. So over that summer, things change. But it definitely is an option to not complete that 5th year if the student does not want to. They can take those credits that they've earned and then go about their day and go on to college their freshman year. Does that help, Zaria?
Yes.
Okay, so parents will need to understand helping the student in the Wayne County courses a little bit different than helping students in the Arbor Prep courses. So in a student's Arbor Prep course, if they're having issues, you can call the teacher, you can have a conversation with them, schedule a meeting. If they're having issues in Wayne County courses, the phone call you would make would need to be to me. You can monitor their Blackboard. I have all the students set up on Blackboard now this year. But outside of that, communication with the professors is not something that happens. The students have to advocate for themselves. Again, if a student's having a problem, it's not unusual for a parent to call me and say, listen, Ms. Russell, I need some assistance. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to help them in their classes. I'm confused too. Can you help us? And then definitely, communicate with me makes sense. But once you cross over me and go to a professor, you may not like the response you get. I hate to say that, but most professors are going to respond, your student needs to contact me. I cannot talk to you. They are considered an adult in college. And then students who are in the program do not have to worry about their AP courses because those are the courses that they're in the program are counted as AP classes the same way in their GPA. So once they enter to that second semester sophomore year, then their AP requirement is done. So that's not even a worry anymore. So what can students do with their credits from the program? So they can get an associate's degree. They can complete the program and be done. I'm sorry, that says DU. I did this for another school too. So they can complete that associate's degree or certificate at Wayne County and be done and enter the workforce. They can become an RN. They can look at X-ray tech. They can look at auto body technician and be completely done and never have paid a dime. They could earn their associate's degree and then apply their credits to a bachelor's degree. That could be an option. That's what a lot of my students are thinking about doing. A lot of them are looking at Eastern and Wayne State and taking their credits to that school and then completing a program there. Or, as I just spoke about a few minutes ago with Zaria, they can get as many credits as they would like and then transfer before they finish that 5th year. So this was a testimony for our students. It's kind of long. So I'm going to share this on the website, the early college website that I'm going to show you, and then you can watch it yourself. But it shows 2 of my 5th year students and a professor that kind of talk about the program. They talk about like, it's hard, but they really enjoy it and they receive a lot of support. So I'm going to encourage you to go to the website and watch, but I don't want to keep you too long. So what else is there to consider? Transportation logistics. So during that 12th and that 13th year, students will have to get to Wayne County's campus. And we don't provide transportation as of right now, but that is something that we're steadily working on and trying to provide for students. So we encourage students to carpool. That's what a lot of our kids do. They work between the parents, and the parents may transport them, or a student who has a driver's license will drive everybody to class. And that's what's kind of been working right now. And then another thing is that students will follow the Arbor Prep and Wayne County calendars. So a student that has a Wayne County class, like our 12th and our 13th year, students that have classes on Wayne County's campus, they still have class even if we don't. So there's a snow day, and Wayne County does not call a snow day, our 12th and 13th year students still are expected to go. But if there's a snow day and you have classes on Arbor Prep's campus, then the snow day is a snow day. Spring break is spring break. whatever we call for Arbor Prep works for Wayne County if your class is on Arbor Prep's campus. I have a remind group, so I remind students. If like last year we had a snow day, pretty much all of our snow days, Wayne County also had a snow day. It was one time they didn't, but the professor called it anyway. So I communicate with the students and say, you still have class this morning, or hey, you guys don't have class and Arbor Prep does. That actually happened once. Students must pay for a course if they fail or if they withdraw for the course. So below a D grade is failing. So if a student fails, then we will expect them to repay the school for that class. Books are something that students and families are responsible for as of right now. So we are looking for ways to be able to provide that for families. So what I do is when I get the list, I send out websites where I found the books to be the cheapest. And then I work with families to be able to make sure they have those before classes start. This year, I didn't send that list out because with coronavirus, I didn't know if many professors were actually going to use their books. And sure enough, two of them did not. So students didn't really even need to buy their books. But the other ones, they got them off Amazon. They got them pretty cheap. And then I also have some books that we bought over the years in my room. So I loan those out to students for the semester. If a student is just not able to afford their books, then we buy them. It's pretty much that simple. It's very important that students understand that they have to seek out help. I'll try to be as proactive. Their early college coaches will try to be as proactive, and Ms. Wallace will try to be as proactive as possible. But it is always something when parents are able to be proactive. When you remove that, sometimes a student doesn't seek help when they need it. So we really encourage students to develop a relationship with myself and with their early college coaches so they feel comfortable to be able to come to us and say, yeah, I need help. This is not going real good for me. We do not guarantee that a student will earn an associate's degree. Just because a student may not pass a class, something may happen in the semester and they have to drop a class. So you can earn up to associate's degree, but we do not guarantee it. Poor grades in your college courses not only impact your high school transcript because they're on your high school transcript, but they impact your college transcript. So when you're applying to colleges, you're going to have to send in your Wayne County transcript. And if you've done great, it's going to be a great thing and it's going to really impact you in a great way. But if you have done poorly, then we're going to have a lot of explaining to do. And that's why I really stay on students to make sure that they are successful and that they can handle the program. I think it's important for parents and students to know that once you start entering those classes at Wayne County, you're going to encounter adult students on the campus. Wayne County TED-Scott campus is really small, so you don't have to worry about, crossing over to another building or being unsafe. The TED-Scott campus is literally one building, and you're there with other dual enrollment and early college students. But you may have some adult students in those classes once you enter into that 12th grade and that 13th year. And then some of the content that are in the college classes is adult and could be controversial. Some of the movies that you're asked to watch could be rated R. Some of the books you're asked to read could be against beliefs that you may have, but it is a college class and we don't police what they teach in those college classes. So if you're listening and you're like, I think this will be awesome for my student, or I want to give it a chance, then you did the first step, which is attending the information meeting. And then you will go and complete the application, which I'm going to click on the website so that you can see. And then I will send official acceptance out by email, and I will invite the student to come in and get their college accepted shirt because you are officially a college accepted. And then your classes will begin. So usually I start, if any students in the 9th grade, I start them in the fall of their 10th grade year. If any students in the 10th grade, then I am reopening the application for 10th grade students to start in January if they would like, or they can choose to wait into the fall. They would just let me know. And if any students are currently in the 11th grade, then we will have to have a conversation to make sure that this makes the best sense for them. So I'm going to click on.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes, ma'am.
I've got a 10th grader who's in her first semester, and so we're interested in having her apply and begin the second semester. She's concerned about her current schedule and how that'll be worked out if she does get accepted for January?
Yep. So she doesn't need that. She can put that concern on me and Miss Snowberger. We would figure everything out.
Sounds great. Thank you.
If there's any class that she's like, oh my gosh, I just got to keep this class, then she would just need to let me know and I would try to do my best. But I meet with Ms. Snowberger and we kind of go through student by student to make sure that we can make it work for them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. If you haven't been to the Gator College Counseling website, I really think this is a great website, if I can say so myself. It's a lot of information on here for our current students. But if you go here to the early college, then I have information they're going to need for they'll use Blackboard. Here's where they get to their email. Some students have to get their books off a website called Cengage. So I include that here, and I include the classes that they will take. So students in the class of 2022 and beyond, is students that join their 10th grade for next semester, they're going to take Sociology 100, and they'll also take Humanities 101. That'll be our 10th graders. If anyone is waiting until the 11th grade, they'll take English 119 and Philosophy 201, which I thought the students were not going to enjoy, but our students are loving their philosophy class, which is a lot different than I did in college. So any students that wish to apply, they'll just come to this website, go to freshmen and sophomores, and the early college application is right here. It's a Google form. They'll submit it. It'll come right to me. And then if I have any questions, I will reach out to you. Also, here is an underclassmen presentation about applying to college and what our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors should be doing right now. The application is pretty much straightforward. So all they'll need to do, they do have an essay, and they can choose here. As you see that they're going to submit their essay below, or they will submit the essay to me at another time, and then I will just wait for that. So that is our early college presentation. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have another question, Mrs. Russell.
Yes.